Hi everyone. Recently I made a video called The Final Solution for Incels. And I'd like to make some clarifications. So I called it that way, but in reality there's multiple potential final solutions for different people. For example, if you had a plastic surgery, some kind of extreme facial plastic surgery, and it worked for you, you got a girlfriend, or at least you have a lot of sex and you're satisfied with that, this will be considered your final solution. Obviously, there's probably a lot of people that wouldn't necessarily be interested in going that far. You will have to be desperate and you will need a lot of money. So if you don't have the money, you wouldn't be able to do this. But even with the money, I still think that some may not necessarily be ready to do something like that. Okay. But anyway, that's one of the possibilities. So next, we have people that constantly pay for sex. Personally, I wouldn't necessarily see this as some kind of final solution, but maybe some would. Maybe there's some people out there that could use that term to describe constantly paying for sex as a final solution. I don't know. But again, to do something like that constantly costs a lot of money, and this is probably not something that will be feasible for a lot of incels. And like I said, they may still not call this a final solution. So next we have to move to another country. Okay, so if you do something like that and it works for you, it will definitely be considered a final solution, because this is something that is probably, it's one of those things that you're going to do in last resort. Okay, you're going to try a lot of things before doing something like that, because moving to some of those countries, it can be scary. Okay, to move there and to start a new life alone, and you may not even be confident that it's going to work. So some people, they traveled there for a certain amount of days and it worked, but even if it worked, this doesn't quite count for a final solution. I'd say you'll have to move there to actually and get a girlfriend there, get a woman, or stay there and at least have a lot of sex if you're satisfied with that. And now this will count. But the thing, like I said, is that really you will have to try a lot of things before doing something like that. And also, you may not have enough money to do it. It's a decision that could be very hard to make. And your desire to get a woman, or at least a lot of sex, may have to be much bigger. Or you may simply not try this, even if you have enough money for it. So next we have, like I mentioned in my earlier video, is to start to have sex with men even if you're not gay. So this is something that few incels seem to be interested in. But like I said, it can be with men that are not incels, or specifically with incels. Okay? And I do agree that this is something that should exist. But again, you will have to try to find out how you feel about that. But I think that this is something that you should start with just plain hugging, without even being naked. You have to start, okay, and try something. Only that will make you feel better. And you slowly try something more intimate, okay? And you could be surprised. Some of you could be surprised that they could find a way to like this enough, even if they're not gay. But you're probably going to go through a lot of shame, I guess, like I said, this is probably what will happen, and you will have to be strong mentally to accept to do something like this. But unfortunately, some of you won't do this. They will not do anything when this option could be available, and they won't do anything instead of even just trying that. And personally, I think that it's unfortunate. I think that people should experiment more, even if this feels like this is something that they really don't want to do. But again, like I said, I will try a lot of things, and for a very long time, probably, before trying something like that. And for a minority of people, yep, this could be considered their final solution. So next we have what is probably one of the most common final solutions, which is to simply kill yourself. So that's pretty unfortunate. But in some cases, it may be preferable, though I'm really not a fan of suicide. I think that if you don't experience extreme physical suffering, I really don't think that people should do it. Okay, there are some exceptions, okay, but I much prefer people to live, okay, for decades, to try stuff and to just accept their situation, and you never know what could happen. Even if I recognize that it can be extremely difficult, I just don't think that this is really interesting. But like I said, for some of you, it may be your final solution. It may be what is going to happen, unfortunately. Or fortunately, depending on how you feel. So obviously, there's also other things that could be considered final solutions. Some of them are extremely violent and unacceptable. So please don't do them. But there's something else, something extremely disappointing that will probably happen to a lot of incels. No final solution whatsoever. They are simply going to continue their lives for decades. They will never get a girlfriend. They may never get sex either whatsoever. And that's it. They will not do any of the things that I mentioned in this video. And they will simply die at a very old age. That sounds pretty depressing, don't you think? So I'd like to know, what's your final solution? Do you think that you are going to do one of those things one day? Or nothing will actually happen, and there's no final solution for you? Do you think that you're going to die and then sell? Tell me what you think in the comments. And thanks for watching, and see you in another video.